I'm really eager to hear, like, from your perspective as a finance leader, like, what is it about AI that excites you the most and its potential to impact your work?
I'm really excited about AI. The
Yeah.
most thing I'm excited about is how it allows finance to evolve. Because finance traditionally is always viewed as the back office, very transactional. And AI is really allowing it to move it to become a strategic business partner who drives the business decision. It's not just about automation of finance, it's really making um, better decision making, quick decisions. And I'll give you some example how we implement in finance already. For example, in FP&A, financial planning and analysis, in the past we have been doing static monthly forecasts. Now we're
Mm.
moving to real time, rolling dynamic forecast, which is using the operational drivers, the external signals, as well as the historical data, and allows us to um, create and simulate different business scenarios. AI is also changing a lot the CFO vote as well as the reporting to the board. You can imagine how many manual efforts we had in finance putting this information together for the board, and it mostly was focused on historical performance. So now AI allows us to create dashboards, even suggest some narrative, and as a result, the conversation is shifting from what happened to what's next.
Yeah, that's really, really exciting. And I love how you mentioned, how it's making us a strategic partner. I think that's a big part of it is I think being a strategic partner, like you were saying, is not just talking about what the situation is here, but like what the future is going to look like. I think that's what you're talking about, isn't it? Like, and that's how you
Sure.
can sort of not just talk about the data as it is now, but what it's going to mean for us in the future, where we're going to end up. And that's really, really great. Definitely, really exciting stuff. So, compared to kind of then what I want to hit on today is kind of like I guess we've heard whispers about there being sort of obstacles slightly in terms of like AI adoption in finance, as opposed to like where there is maybe in kind of marketing or other areas of an organization. What is there any truth to this, Nikki? And if so, can you elaborate on it a little bit?
Sure, we are definitely cautious in finance more than
Yeah,
other function. And what you need to understand, we are responsible for numbers. So,
yeah.
with the difference between using AI and generating email for marketing
Hmm.
versus using AI for SEC reporting, like 10K or
Yeah.
20F, whatever's going to the market, right? So, with more risk involved, and that's make us cautious. You also need to understand that finance tradition is very conservative function. We are not
Right.
the one on the front line of innovation, which is also holding us back a little bit. There's also other reason as well is because finance, like I said, the tradition is very conservative. It's also being viewed as a cost function versus someone who could actually generate revenue and add value. And because of that, in my experience, it's much more difficult for us to get the AI investment versus for someone like sale who could already justify or ROI. So that is some of those factors definitely holding us back a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think what you said about it being what did you say, a cost function or viewed, that's something, for me as somebody who's like outside of finance, like I don't get that at all, how it could ever be viewed as that. Where does that come from, like being viewed as a cost function rather than
Well, I mean, with certain function which are viewed as generating revenue for the
yeah,
company.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when finance traditionally, if you look at it, we put together the books, right? We keep books, we do some projection, but we're not the one who generates revenue. We view it as a compliance and admins function. And
yeah, yeah,
because of that, if you look at AI dollar investment, and I'm talking about any company, big or small, when we'll start looking at allocation where the dollars goes, I guarantee you, finance will never gonna be the first function where people would say, "Let's allocate their dollars," because whenever you allocate any investment, you want to see return on investment.
Of
And for
course, yeah,
finance,
of course.
it's much more difficult to justify it versus, for example, for sales.
And that wraps up another episode of the 2 Cents Podcast. Thank you to our listeners for taking the time to tune in. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear from more finance leaders like today's guest, please subscribe to the show and leave a rating or review in your favourite podcast app. It would mean so much to me and my guests if you can show them some love and appreciation for sharing so many great insights with us on the show. Again, thanks for listening. See you in the next one.